chosen ones. They stuck like glass shards, but unknown cause, God's moving the earth for you. See, God's moving the whole earth for you just because you're the chosen one. God's saying, hold up. No, 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 no. God's the referee. He's stepping in for you. He's stepping in. But see, let me tell y'all about the glass shards part of people being stuck. People want to stick to you like shards of glass. Like, psychologically, as a kid, I always knew not to play with or mess around with glass. That's like the one thing in nature I just always had like a little phobia of snakes, spiders, and glass, broken glass. I think broken glass is a spiritual thing. You know, glass break, a mirror break, something. It's just so many small little pieces that break up amongst a floor or whatever, and you just know that it's almost impossible to get that out of your foot. And so technically, how am I going to go to sleep tonight if I just stepped in some glass? And how am I going to go to sleep tonight comfortably, right? Because shards of glass have that certain type of characteristic amongst a lot of other things. You know, you could get a splinter and go to sleep. But if I step in a lot of glass, I'm going to be picking that out for the next 2, 3 days, 4, 5 to a week. So chosen ones, God's power will halt any form of evil. And it will not prevail because of your loyalty to God, and your dedication to oneself and to Jesus. A lot of people think because y'all family or friends that y'all belong together, like Mariah Carey said, or that they own you or something like that. Or friends, a lot of friends feel like they own parts of you, and you know, and y'all are bros forever and stuff like that. Which only part of that is true. You know what I'm saying? But the other part is a fallacy that we need to stop looking at that in that way. People knew you physically and they thought they owned you. They had no idea because they were family or friends. They thought they could stick to you, into you, like shards of glass. But in Jesus' name, they were never really qualified. And Jesus is the doctor that easily reimburses and renews the broken glass out of your body. See, we don't got to even do the work, chosen ones. When we're tapped in with God, the work part becomes way less harder. And a lot of people don't get that because sometimes it is way more harder as well. But it's not as hard as you think it is. But you got to dedicate yourself to yourself and to God, chosen ones. Uh, they slept on the one thing you could never, and that's God's possibilities. Because right now he's moving the whole earth, chosen ones, just to give you the confidence just to give you a smile and just to lend you a good life and just to give you good vibes because he's seen everything. He's seen everything because he wanted you to digest it in this season and not be so oblivious to the world that you're living in. He wanted the scarred parts of you as remembrance and a token of what not to do. See, when people get scarred, chosen ones, they never forget. That's a lifelong lesson you take with you until your last days. So even though people stuck to you like shards of glass, he bestowed it upon you to use that as a catapult to the mission that you're going to be on. And so uh, they didn't know God was moving the whole earth for you. And this is why they played around and fell into the certain things they fell into because they look at life physical. A lot of people who y'all been hanging with and been sharing space with only see life in that physical way. And because they only see life on a physical manifestation, they just do a lot of, they fall into their lust, into their regular daily, you feel me? And what happens is that because you're a chosen one, but you're still human, you still gotta separate yourself from God said, be he separate and come from amongst them. So you gotta first separate, distinguish yourself. Like, oh, y'all going to the bar. I don't go to the bar. Oh, y'all eating chicken. I don't eat meat. Y'all going there, and start to do that often. And as you pick up that momentum, eventually you'll have a breakthrough, and you'll be like, okay, bet. So I really don't really even relate to these people the way I felt like I was relating to these people. Like we really got nothing in common. No wonder why everything was, you feel me, sloppy all the time because there was never no real deal vibe here. We just was common. We was comfortable. You feel me? And they say comfort kills. So chosen ones, you already could see. You feel me? Like how your life been circulating around certain people and the type of things people will do to hold you back because it's very uncomfortable for them to even see you to go to another level because they identify you going with to another level with them going because they remember they're the shards of glass that's stuck in you. So they thinking, you feel me, like you secretly want them to see you go higher or you most people because they operate off feelings instead of logic. They don't see it as logically like, oh, everybody got their day where they supposed to blow up and just do better in life. They emotionally are the shards of glass because shards of glass is just energy and motion getting stuck and lodged into your skin. So you're like trying to like still pick up new hobbies, pick up new energy, pick up new things, but you got this glass stuck in your hand. And so every time you try to make moves, it feel very odd. It feel very odd. And you don't know why because a lot of things attached to you or you attach to things versus you realizing like, hey, like less is more in the spiritual realm, whereas though in the physical realm, more is more. But in the spiritual realm, less is more. That's why they say holy, because if you think about a hole and you look at a hole, is a circle that's empty and vast. And when you're in touch with God, that's what you become. Empty is typically associated with negative connotation, but in the spiritual world is highly associated with a positive thing because you can't pour into a cup that's full, right? You can only pour into a holy cup, an empty cup. And so if you're gonna be godly or have, humility or anything of that nature, you gotta be empty of past thoughts, past traumas, past this, past that. You know what I'm saying? Um, you can't bring your old friends to meet your new friends. You can't bring your old girl to meet your new women. You can't do it. And see, so humans think that they don't even think that deep. So it's like you got one foot in, one foot out, and you playing limbo. And because you're more comfortable with the old version of you because you didn't die and you stayed alive through them old moments, you feel you're automatically inclined emotionally to being pulled back before you ever stay still or move forward. And so that's the science of it all. And so you'll learn as you keep going, chosen ones, like subscribe to my channel, stay in tune with what I be telling y'all, because y'all will learn like there's no being in two places at one time. Every time you make a thing that reminds you of the past or do something that is like the past, it doesn't mean that you're going to go backwards, but you have to gain an emotional muscle that doesn't allow you to spring back just because something triggered you from the past, because it's an uphill thing, and a lot of people can't see that with the naked eye. It's an uphill. I'm sure y'all could feel it, but y'all can't really distinguish it and express it and break it down like to yourself, like, bro, this is because it's literally the gap between the spiritual realm and the physical realm. Like you can say, "Oh, I want some money," but you just saying it. But money is physical, so it got nothing to do with what you're saying. But it's the gap between what you're saying and asking yourself, why is it that I'm just saying it versus me actually being able to pull it in and attract it. And people call it manifestation, this and that, but it's literally just energy and motion. Like money is a frequency, it's energy and motion. Like everything on earth is energy and motion. And when you live in the present moment, it's easier to attract. I see it all the time when I talk to women, chosen ones. I ain't gonna lie. Like, just being in the moment, it makes you highly irresistible and hard to figure out and all type of stuff. Like, versus when you're just like trying to like, you just rolled out of bed, you're not living in the moment. You're thinking, you're subconscious, you're conscious, self-conscious. Like, you're like, oh my God, I look horrible. I don't know, da 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 da. Everything feels uncertain and you're up in your head. That's where you're not gonna attract, because you it's just the way you are. Like, you're not attractive. Like the song Kendrick Lamar made, uh, I've been fasting, I'm attractive. Ugly nigga with he said ugly nigga with confidence. What he say? I'm attractive. But he was saying I'm ugly, but I'm attractive. And it was the irony, right? Because that's the point. It's like you could attract from anywhere. You could be. I could just wake up and I could, because my mentality or because the way my mind is set on a certain thing, could dictate the whole universe. Because it doesn't matter if I just woke up, if I know how to fine tune my eyesight, and I know how to see what I need to see when I need to see what I need to see in here. And life could do whatever it's going to do, because it's going to always do this wiggly dance to throw you off. That's why emotions um, have to do with like um, gravity, energy and motion, gravity. And that's why a lot of y'all feel off balance every day, because y'all never quite took life serious. A lot of y'all. And even me, I'm realizing like, bro, and it's not that you're not a good person or you never knew. It's not even that it is kind of you didn't know how, but it's also you didn't understand how important, right? The gravity, like I just said, the importance. And if you don't understand the importance, then everybody else who understand or is passed down that importance to them by their parents or whatever, maybe their different neighborhood, they just gonna be a little bit more feisty and quicker, and it's gonna come across as stronger than you, and it might not even be stronger than you. They just got more wisdom or more game than you, and that's cool because when God gives you stuff, you don't gotta be cocky about it because it came from God. So I don't even need to be boasting about what I know and what I don't know. Because boasting, once you figure out in life, you figure out that boasting goes against growth, has nothing to do with growth. It's actually the most immature thing on the chessboard. And you've noticed that it's 1-1-1, by the way. I don't know if y'all can see. Yeah, I just seen it. But you'll notice that yeah, if you're really mature, you don't do no boasting because the seriousness, like I said, the weight, the gravity of life is not to be played with. You notice that it's more of a responsibility than it is actually a luxury and stuff like that. You know, there's some perks to winning, but and then you also notice like, well, I don't want just want to win today. I want to win tomorrow, and that's going to take more energy and more progress and more work. And so it's never quite, you know what I'm saying, what people be thinking it be. But at the end of the day, chosen ones, when you're a man of God, a woman of God, it changes everything for you because it just does. I could explain that all day. I ain't gonna lie, but I'm not going to. 'Cause it's a great thing. If you don't see the greatness in it, then I can't. I mean, I could make y'all see the greatness in it, but that's the paradox of life. For you to come across the beauty, like nobody could have told me to be religious. I had to literally like need it first. If I never needed it, then the contradiction is in the pudding. Like there's no telling me that I need to do all this extra stuff, magical stuff, when life was already beautiful to me, already magical to me, already. So psychedelically, you're not gonna see nothing about it besides the fact that you don't want to go to hell and you really don't care about that. Like the real fearless you don't ain't like the child inside of you doesn't care about that. It's hard to trick a kid. Like I mean, it's easy to trick a kid, but it's also in some paradoxical ways kind of impossible. Because as you're older and living a lie, that kid is living 100% in truth. So it really doesn't equate and no, you know, in many ways that kid has a power that you don't possess. Because as you grow, the world conforms you, and as you're young, it's kind of hard. It takes time to conform somebody. Like it takes years of, messing with people to make them change. You know how hard it is to change people. And kids, they operate out of their heart chakra, whereas though most people they thinkers. So it gets real crafty out here, and you have to be aware. So go ahead, like this video, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna see you on the next video, chosen ones. I love y'all, man. I'm gone. Peace.